Welcome to the House of Representatives. Your safety is our top priority. Please take a moment to familiarize yourself with our emergency exit plan. First, remember that illuminated exit signs will always show you the way. Please remain calm and follow these signs in an orderly manner. Now, for your specific location. If you are on the plenary floor, exits are at both ends, leading to the north and south wing lobbies. You may also use the main entrance glass doors, which open toward the flagpole area. If you are in the middle gallery, your primary exit is through the main entrance glass doors, located near the flagpole area. If you are in the second or third floor galleries, in addition to the main door on your level, emergency exits are located at the ends of the seat rows on both the east and west sides. All these exits will lead you to the main hallway stairways, going down to the main entrance and out to the flagpole area. A quick guide. If you are on the south side of the gallery, turn right as you go through the emergency exit. If you are on the north side, turn left. Both will lead you towards the main hallway stairways. If you are seated at the rostrum, your nearest exits are on the north and south sides, leading directly to the rear entrance lobby and out to the helipad area. Finally, if you are unable to leave the plenary hall, do not panic. Essential safety items, a hard hat, whistle, bottled water, and flashlight are readily available under your table for your immediate use. Thank you for your attention. Your safety is our shared responsibility.
The session is called to order. Everybody is required to rise for the singing of the national anthem. Please remain standing for the invocation to be led by Representative Antonino Roman III.
Let us bow our heads. Almighty and ever-living God, we come before you today in humility and gratitude as we resume our work for the Filipino people. After this period of recess and renewal, we gather once more in this august hall, entrusted with the hopes of our nation. We thank you for the strength you have given us, the guidance you have shown, and the opportunity to serve our people. Yet, Lord, we stand here with heavy hearts. In the past weeks, our country faced the wrath of Bagyong Tino and Super Typhoon Uwan. Lives were lost, homes and livelihoods swept away, entire communities left grieving and rebuilding from the ground up. For every Filipino who mourns, for every farmer who lost his harvest, for every child displaced from home and school, we ask for your comfort, compassion, and healing. Grant also, O Lord, strength to our frontliners, responders, local leaders, and volunteers who labor tirelessly to protect and restore our communities. Bless their hands and fortify their spirits as they continue to work of relief, recovery, and hope. As representatives of our people, we ask that you guide us now more than ever. Instill in us a deeper sense of purpose and urgency. Remind us that beyond political persuasion, beyond titles and parties, we are first and foremost servants of the nation. In the face of disaster, hardship, and uncertainty, may we choose unity over division, compassion over pride, and action over hesitation. Help us to build with foresight, legislate with conviction, and lead with heart. Let us craft policies that uplift the vulnerable, strengthen our communities, and fortify our nation's resilience against the storms, both literal and figurative, yet to come. Lord, renew in us a spirit of bayanihan. May the work we do in these halls reflect the bravery of our frontliners, the perseverance of our workers, and the hope of every Filipino who still believes in the promise of a better tomorrow. Bless our nation and its leaders. Bless every Filipino family. And bless this Congress that we may always choose service, humility, and love for country above all else. We entrust this session and our nation to your guiding light. Amen.
Amen. Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Is there any objection? Session suspended.
There's
Session is resumed. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I move to call the roll of members.
is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to call the roll of members.
Roll call of members. Honorable Representatives Abalos, Abante, Asidre, Acop, Acosta, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Agyaw, Alano, Alba, Albano, Almario Chino Miguel, Almario Dennis, Almonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Amante, Amatong, Angara, Angeles, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison Munir, Arbison Munir Jr., Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Ataide, Aumentado, Ayon, Bagaw, Balindong, Banyas Nograles, Bangkoro, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barsaga, Baskug, Bautista Claude, Bautista Joan Monique, Bautista Lim, Beltran, Benitez Alfredo, Benitez Javier Miguel, Bernos Ching, Bernos JB, Biron, Bocobo, Bolilia, Bondok, Briones, Bulut Begtang, Cagas, Calderon, Calderon Calisto, Kawagdan, Cari, Castro, Caiton, Celeste, Sendanya, Senisa, Chan, Chua, Chuatay, Chungalaw, Ko Pilar, Coangco Jaime Edward Mark, Coangco Mark, Colliantes, Corvera, Cruz Agatha, Cruz Ricardo, Cruzado, Kua, Dagook, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Lima, De Venecia, Defensor, De Gamo, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Di Makuha, Di Magila, Di Maporo Imelda, Di Maporo City Amina, Diokno, Dionisio, Domingo, Domogan, Duterte Harold James, Duterte Omar Vincent, Duterte Paulo, D. Faustino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Elago, Emano, Enverga, Erice, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Jeffrey, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galang, Galeyos, Garbin, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Karen Hope, Garcia Maria Angela, Guardiola, Garin, Gatchalian, Gato, Glepa, Go, Gomez, Gonzales Alexandria, Gonzales Elisa Micaela, Gonzales Christopher Sheen, Gonzales Roy, Goriseta, Guico, Gintu, Gulyas, Gutierrez, Hernandez Charis Ann, Hernandez Dennis, Hernandez Ferdinand, Hernandez Ramil, Hofer Hasim, Horibata, Ismula, Iway, Javier, Ko Antonio, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Kong Hun, Ko, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lagbas, Lagdameo Jose Manuel, Lagdameo Monique Yasmin Maria, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sunny, Lara, Lazatin, Ledesma, Legacion, Legarda, Legazpi, Leviste, Libanan, Lopez, Loria, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Makasaet, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Manguda Datu, Manikis, Maranyon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Marquez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miraflores, Momo, Montes, Nava, Nazal, Nisay, Nolasco, Oeminal Henry, Oeminal Sancho Fernando, Oducado, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Oreta, Ortega, Owano Dizon, Padiernos, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Perez, Pimentel, Plaza, Pleito, Poe, Primicias Agabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Recto, Regencia, Remulia, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Ridon, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Yoloyo, Rodriguez Maximo, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romualdez Andrew Julian, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sagar Baria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvacion, Salvador, Salvame, San Fernando, Santos Maria Alana Samantha, Santos Mark Anthony, Shimura, Singson Richelle, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Swansing Bella Vanessa, Swansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Suntay, Talyado, Tan Ayman, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Mika, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Chay, Tan Watko, Tariela, Teodoro, Tereng, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tinio, Tolentino, Tuan, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T, Umali, Ungab, Uy De Carlo, Uy Roberto, Valeriano, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Veloso, Veloso Tuazon, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villafuerte Vicencio Renato Luigi, Villanueva, Villarica, Violago, Yamsuan, Yap Arthur, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, Yap John Gisnel, Yatko, Inares, Yu Jaisel Victoria, Yu Joseph Kim, Yulo, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 218 members responded to the call.
With 218 members responding to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to approve the Journal number 16 covering October 13, 2025.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to proceed with the reference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as communications and committee reports.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as the communications and committee reports for referral to the appropriate committees.
Reference of business, bills on first reading. House Bill 5472, converting Lingayen, Pangasinan into component city to be known as the City of Lingayen, by Representative Cojuangco Mark.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 5473, declaring the month of October as National Safe Sound Month, by Representative Yatko.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5474, authorizing the city or municipal civil registrar and the consul general to exchange the sex and the first name of an intersex person appearing in the civil register without the need of a judicial order, by Representatives Sandanya, Jokno, Ismula, and Bagao.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 5475, increasing the excise tax on alcoholic beverages, by Representatives Sandanya, Jokno, Ismula, and Bagao.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 5476, increasing the excise tax on pre-mixed alcoholic beverages by Representatives Sandanya, Jokno, Ismula, and Bagao.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 5477, regulating the sale and packaging of alcohol products by Representatives Sandanya, Jokno, Ismula, and Bagao.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill 5478, increasing the excise tax on alcoholic beverages by Representative Amante.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 5479, renewing for another 50 years the franchise granted to Philippine Airlines, Inc. by Representative Ortega.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill 5480, authorizing LGUs to undertake the construction, repair, and maintenance of public school buildings by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Local Government and the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5481, establishing the Presidential Scholarship Merit Program, providing financial assistance for higher education by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5482, providing for the comprehensive rehabilitation and upgrading of existing resettlement areas by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Housing and Urban Development.
House Bill 5483, establishing an elderly care and nursing center in the province of Palawan by Representative Ligaspi.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 5484, protecting vulnerable sectors against radicalization and terror grooming by Representative Acop.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill 5485, providing regulatory framework for open harbor pilotage in the Philippines by Representative Pumaren.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5486, providing for the fair use of social media, AI, and internet technology for the holding of free, orderly, honest, peaceful, and credible elections by Representative Ataide.
To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Bill 5487, institutionalizing and strengthening the National Cybersecurity Framework by Representative Ataide.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 5488, establishing a voucher system for poor and academically qualified students of private higher education institutions and private tech-voc institutions by Representative Ataide.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5489, promoting the adoption of digital payments for financial transactions of the government and all merchants by Representative Ataide.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill 5490, instituting a national land use policy by Representative Ataide.
To the Special Committee on Land Use.
House Bill 5491, converting various roads traversing certain municipalities in the 2nd Legislative District, province of Davao de Oro, into national roads by Representative Zaniza.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 5492, providing hazard pay and continuing education, specialized training, and scholarship programs for disaster risk reduction and management officers and personnel by Representative Zaniza.
To the Committee on Disaster Resilience.
House Bill 5493, reorganizing the Women and Children Protection Center of the PNP into the Women and Children Protection Group by Representatives Valeriano, Puno, Lagbas, Veloso Tuazon, Tolentino, Oreta, and Acop.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill 5494, amending the Act punishing online sexual abuse of exploitation of children, penalizing the production, distribution, possession, and access of child sexual abuse or exploitation materials by Representatives Valeriano, Puno, Lagbas, Veloso Tuazon, Tolentino, Oreta, and Acop.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill 5495, establishing in the Island Garden City of Samal, Davao del Norte, the Island Garden City of Samal Hospital by Representative Lagdameo Jose Manuel.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5496.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the reference to business.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Reference to business is suspended. Majority Leader.
I move to suspend.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Session is suspended.
Session is resumed. Majority Floor Leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, our Speaker of the House, Faustino Bojidi III, will now address the body.
Mga kasama kong lingkod bayan, mga kapwa kong kinatawan, at mga kababayan ko, isang mainit na pagbati sa pagbabalik sa session ng inyong kapulungan ng kinatawan. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Bago ang lahat, muli nating ipinaabot ang ating lubos na pakikiramay sa mga pamilyang labis na naapektuhan ng sunod-sunod na kalamidad sa ating buong bansa. Kasama ninyo kami sa panalangin para sa inyong mabilis na pagbangon. Ang buong Kongreso ay handang makipagtulungan sa inyong mga kinatawan upang maghatid ng agarang tulong at sa lahat ng mga pangangailangan. Patuloy din tayong makikipag-ugnayan sa mga ahensya ng mga pamahalaan at mga lokal na opisyal upang maihatid ang tulong, mabilis na rehabilitasyon at matiyak ang mas matatag na paghahanda sa mga susunod pang sakuna. Sa gitna ng bawat unos, pinapaalala sa atin na ang paglilingkod ay hindi lamang tungkol sa paggawa ng mga batas, kundi sa pagpapakita ng malasakit sa pagkilos at pagbibigay ng bagong pag-asa. Naiintindihan ko po na may mga kasama tayo na wala dito ngayon upang tugunan ang pangangailangan ng kanilang mga nasasakupang lugar. Tama lamang po na ipakita natin ang ating dedikasyon sa paglilingkod sa gitna ng panahon ng mga pagsubok. Ngayon, na natapos na natin ang unang hakbang at tungkuling maipasa ang pambansang budget, maaari na nating ituon ang ating buong lakas sa paggawa ng iba pang mahalagang batas na magpapatatag sa ating ekonomiya, magpapalakas sa ating mga institusyon, makakatulong sa agarang pagbangon ng mga lugar na nasalanta at magpapatibay sa tiwala ng ating taong bayan. Ngunit, sa pagbubukas ng bagong yugto ng ating paglilingkod sa bayan, kakailanganin nating harapin ang mga katotohanan. May isang hamon na patuloy na umahadlang sa pag-unlad, isang sugat na matagal nang nananatili sa ating lipunan. Yan ay ang korupsyon. Ito ang kalawang gobyerno na ito ang kalawang ng gobyerno na unti-unting kumakain sa tiwala ng ating mga mamamayan. Ito ang tunay na salarin sa bawat proyektong hindi natatapos, sa bawat serbisyong napako, at sa mga pangakong di natupad. Sa mensahe ng Catholic Bishop Conference of the Philippines, nitong mga nakaraang araw, malinaw ang paalala, magmuni, magnilay-nilay, at higit sa lahat, maging tuwid. Ang mensahe ito ay hamon para sa bawat isa sa atin sa ating pamahalaan na ang tunay na reforma ay hindi nasusukat sa dami ng ating ipinangako, kundi sa epekto at bisa ng ating isinasagawang programa. Kaya ngayong araw, hayaan po ninyong ilahad ko ang dalawang konkretong hakbang ng inyong Kamara para maipakita at maiparamdam natin na seryoso tayong magreforma sa ating hanay. Una, ang Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption or ICI Bill. Sa harap ng mga ulat ng katiwalaan at ghost projects, hindi sapat ang galit. Kailangan natin ang solusyon. Ang ICI Bill ay makakatulong upang mapanagot ang mga individual na sangkot sa katiwalaan sa flood control projects. Malinaw ang ating mensahe. There will be zero delays in the passage of this measure because our people have zero tolerance for corruption. Kaya malinaw din po ang direktiba natin dito. We will pass this before we adjourn this December. Pangalawa, ang paghahain ng panukalang anti-dynasty bill. Panahon na upang harapin ang isa pang usapin na matagal nang nakasaad sa ating konstitusyon, ang pagpapatupad ng batas laban sa political dynasty. Alam ko pong maraming magtataas ng kilay sa usaping ito. At aaminin ko rin, alam kong may mga matang nakatuon sa akin. Dahil sa aking pamilya, gaya ng mga marami pang iba, ay meron ng mahabang tradisyon na paglilingkod sa ating bayan. Hindi ko po itinatanggi sapagkat naniniwala ako na ang paglilingkod ay hindi minamana, kundi ipinagkakatiwala ng taong bayan. Sa totoo lang po, marami po akong pamilya na nasa pwesto. Pero may ilan din naman pong natalo sa eleksyon. Sa uli, taong bayan pa rin ang nagpasya kung sino ang gusto nilang mamuno sa kanilang mga lugar. Kaya't, samahan po ninyo kung isulong natin ng isang panukalang batas na magbibigay ng malinaw at makaturungang definasyon ng political dynasty. Isang definasyon na tapat ng diwa sa ating saligang batas na nakatuon sa pagpapalakas ng ating demokrasya. Ang layuning ito ay hindi upang hadlangan ang sinuman, kundi upang palawakin ang pagkakataon para sa mas maraming Pilipino na makakapaglingkod at makibahagi sa pamahalaan. Mga kasama, patunayan po natin, hindi lamang sa salita kundi sa ating mga gawa, na bukas at handa tayong makinig sa ating mga kababayan. At dahil dito, nagmumula ang tunay na direksyon ng ating pong pamahalaan. Na seryoso tayo sa pagpapatupad ng mga bagong reforma dahil alam nating dito nakasalalay ang tiwala ng ating taong bayan. Dahil ang seryosong pagbabago ang tanging daan tungo sa mas maayos at makatarungan at maunlad na bagong Pilipinas. Habang binubuksan natin ang sesyon na ito, harapin ang tungkulin bilang mga tagapangalaga ng tiwala. Mga lingkod bayan na handang tumupad sa mga pangakong maglingkod ng tapat, magtrabaho ng buong puso, at maghatid ng resulta na tunay na mararamdaman ng ating pong mga mamamayan. Maraming salamat po at sama-sama tayong talunin natin ang korupsyon. Mabuhay ang ating bansang Pilipinas. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
session is suspended.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to resume with the reference of business.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader. The Secretary General is directed to read all House bills and resolutions on first reading.
House Bill 5496, excluding from gross taxable income the medical expenses incurred due to catastrophic illnesses by Representative Lagdameo Jose Manuel.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 5497, mandating all penal institutions with areas suitable for agriculture to implement agricultural livelihood program for prisoners by Representatives Yap Eric and Yap Edvic.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 5498, providing for the monthly subsidy of indigent persons with disability by Representatives Yap Eric and Yap Edvic.
To the Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 5499, converting the Benguet National High School, Alno Annex in Alno, Lani, Trinidad, Benguet into the Alno National High School by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5500, providing for the Magna Carta of the Out-of-School Youth by Representatives Yap Eric and Yap Edvic.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill 5501, converting the Pico Stock Farm, Pugis, Buyagan, Poblacion, Provincial Road in La Trinidad, Benguet into a national road by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 5502 and 5505, converting certain elementary schools in the province of Benguet into integrated schools by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5503, protecting senior citizens from violence by Representatives Yap Eric and Yap Edvic.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 5504, converting the Ampusongan National High School, Kayapa Annex in Kayapa Bakun, Benguet into Kayapa National High School by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5506, ensuring the access of all Filipinos to the highest attainable standard of health by Representative Matugas.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5507, amending the Kabalikat sa Pagtuturo Act by Representative Inares.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture. And the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5508, institutionalizing the community-driven development approach as a national strategy for inclusive growth and social protection by Representative Fortes.
To the Committee on Poverty Alleviation.
House Bill 5509, establishing the Philippine Blood Center by Representative Fortes.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5510, declaring October 12 of every year as a special non-working holiday in Prieto Diaz Sorsogon, to be known as Prieto Diaz Foundation Day by Representative Fortes.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 5511, creating mandatory positions for Human Resource Management Officer for municipalities, cities, and provinces, and a Business Permit and Licensing Officer for municipalities and cities by Representative Fortes.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 5512, granting the Capiz Electric Cooperative Inc. a franchise for the conveyance of electric power to the end users in the city of Rojas and certain municipalities, all in the province of Capiz, by Representatives Castro, Dagook, and De Jesus.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill 5513, increasing the employment quota for PWDs in the public and private sectors to 2% by Representative Goriseta.
To the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 5514, establishing PWD centers in all regional tertiary medical centers under the DOH and mandating the PhilHealth to cover therapy services and assistive rehabilitation for PWDs by Representative Goriseta.
To the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 5515, strengthening inclusive and special education for PWDs by Representative Goriseta.
To the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 5516, strengthening the National Integrated Cancer Control Program by establishing the National Cancer Medicine Access and Innovation Fund by Representative Ko.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5517, mandating the integration of digital literacy education in the basic education curriculum by Representative Ko.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5518, reducing the VAT from 12% to 10% by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 5519, declaring January 22 of every year as a special working holiday to be known as National Farmers' Day by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Revision of Laws,
House Bill 5520, institutionalizing the mandatory grant of a 20% discount privilege to all eligible students on mobile and internet services by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Information and Communications Technology,
House Bill 5521, digitizing all books necessary for public education, establishing the Philippine Online Library by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 5522, institutionalizing the establishment of late-night learning hubs in all cities in the country to provide safe, sustainable, and accessible public study spaces by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill numbers 5523 to 5529, establishing barangay digital resource centers and e-libraries in certain barangays in the province of Camarines Sur by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 5530, integrating voter education into the K-12 curriculum by Representative Chuatay.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 5531, establishing a College of Veterinary Medicine at the Western Mindanao State University in Zamboanga City by Representative Chuatay.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill 5532, providing affordable housing programs for government medical workers by Representative Chuatay.
to the Committee on Housing and Urban Development,
House Bill 5533, strengthening the E-Governance Act of 2025 by Representative Chuatay.
to the Committee on Information and Communications Technology,
House Bill 5534, amending the National Health Insurance Act of 2013 to include the provision of sensory, assistive, and rehabilitative services and devices for indigent senior citizens and PWDs by Representative Chuatay.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5535, converting Baler Bypass Road in the province of Aurora into a national road by Representative Angara.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill 5536, providing for the comprehensive reformation and social reintegration program of senior citizen persons deprived of liberty by Representative Galang.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill 5537, providing for a Magna Carta of delivery riders and bikers by Representative Galang.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill numbers 5538 to 5540, separating the senior high schools from national high schools in certain barangays in the city of Parañaque into independent national senior high schools by Representative Olivares.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 5541, providing for a 200 daily wage increase for minimum wage workers in the private sector by Representative Olivares.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill 5542, establishing a one town, one tourist attraction program to promote tourism and sustainable economic development by Representative Olivares.
to the Committee on Tourism,
House Bill 5543, strengthening the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation by Representative Yap Christopherson.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill 5544, mandating the formulation and institutionalization of a comprehensive infrastructure development master plan by Representative Cruz Agata.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill 5545, providing for a comprehensive and responsive civil registration and vital statistics system by Representative Cruz Agata.
to the Committee on Population and Family Relations,
House Bill 5546, establishing the Philippine Science Institute under the supervision of the DOST by Representative Ledesma.
to the Committee on Science and Technology,
House Bill 5547, establishing a Barangay Digital Resource Center and e-library in Santa Lucia, Magarao, Camarines Sur by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 5548, creating additional branches of the RTZ Family Court, MTCC, and MTC in the 5th Judicial Region to be stationed at the Calabanga and Tili, as well as the City of Naga, Province of Camarines Sur by Representative Legacion.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill 5549, reclassification as agricultural land, a parcel of land of the public domain located in the Ozames City, Misamis Occidental, and open to disposition for agricultural, commercial, residential, and industrial purposes by Representatives Owaminal Henry and Owaminal Sancho Fernando.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill 5550, providing for the conversion of the LTO Extension Office in Coron, Palawan into the LTO District Office of Coron, Palawan, by Representative Salvame.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5551, granting the Bukidnon 2 Electric Cooperative Inc. a franchise for the conveyance of electric power to the end users in certain municipalities in the province of Bukidnon, by Representatives Dacook and De Jesus.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill 5552, modernizing the PCG by introducing policy and organizational reforms and a scholarship program for qualified survivors, by Representative Adong.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5553, requiring front of package warning labels for prepackaged food products, by Representative Cruzado.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5554, to strengthen youth leadership and governance by improving the mandatory and continuing training programs for Sangguniang Kabataan officials, by Representative Cruzado.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 5555, providing for income support program for fisher folks whose livelihood are negatively affected during periods of closed seasons for fishing, by Representative Tad Keith Micah.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill 5556, appropriating the amount of 1 billion pesos for the Cancer Assistance Fund, by Representative Tan Keith Micah.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5557, strengthening the contractor's license law, by Representative Tan Keith Micah.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill 5558, recognizing individual rights over one's likeness and identity, regulating the creation and use of deepfakes through disclosure, consent, and platform accountability, by Representative Tan Keith Micah.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 5559, modernizing the regulation of health facilities and services, by Representative Tan Keith Micah.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5560, instituting the Food and Drug Administration as an independent agency, by Representative Tan Keith Micah.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5561, declaring the manufacture, importation, distribution, sale, or offer for sale or possession of counterfeit pharmaceutical products as an offense involving economic sabotage, by Representative Tan Keith Micah.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5565, expanding the coverage of the National Feeding Program in public schools and public daycare centers, by Representative Agarao.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5563, enhancing the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, by Representative Agarao.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5564, amending the Safe Spaces Act, by Representative Agarao.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 5565, creating 4 additional branches of the MTCC in the 11th Judicial Region to be stationed in General Santos City, by Representative Baños Nograles.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 5566, declaring the city of General Santos as the tuna capital of the Philippines, by Representative Baños Nograles.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill 5567, creating the General Santos City District Engineering Office of the DPWH, by Representative Baños Nograles.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 5568, granting hazard pay to public prosecutors exposed to hazardous situations and performing hazardous duties related to assigned cases, by Representative Baños Nograles.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 5569, declaring the World War II Japanese bunkers in General Santos City as protected heritage and historical sites, by Representative Baños Nograles.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5570, establishing in Hinobaan, Negros Occidental, the Negros Occidental Mathematics and Science High School, by Representative Alvarez Mercedes.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5571, establishing a revenue sharing scheme for host provinces in revenues generated by the national government from offshore mining and energy operations, by Representatives Acosta and Alvarez Jose.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 5572, converting the Dr. Eva Macaraeg Macapagal National Center for Geriatric Health under the Jose R. Reyes Memorial Medical Center as the National Center for Geriatric Health and Research Institute, by Representatives Tulfo Ralph Wendell and Tulfo Jocelyn.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5573, increasing the bed capacity of the Southern Philippines Medical Center in Davao City, Davao del Sur from 1,500 to 2,000 beds. By Representatives Zamora Maria Carmen, Almario, Chino Miguel, Cagas, Uy De Carlo, Dayang Hirang, Lagdameo Jose Manuel, and Seniza.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5574, enhancing the welfare and professional development of special needs education teachers by upgrading their salary grade, by Representative Yamsuan.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5575, establishing an on-site, in-city or near-city or off-city government resettlement program for informal settler families, by Representative Yamsuan.
To the Committee on Housing and Urban Development.
House Bill 5576, establishing a national supplier development program to strengthen MSME participation in domestic and global value chains, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Sierra Marie, Romualdez Andrew Julian, and Isidre.
To the Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development.
House Bill 5577, establishing the Classroom Building Acceleration Program, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Sierra Marie, Romualdez Andrew Julian, and Isidre.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5578, establishing a national jobs guarantee program to be known as the Bayanihan Work Program, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Sierra Marie, Romualdez Andrew Julian, and Isidre.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 5579, granting the President of the Republic of the Philippines emergency powers to expedite the construction, rehabilitation, and repair of classrooms nationwide, by Representative Almario Chino Miguel.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill numbers 5580 to 5589, converting avenues and roads and extension in certain areas in Parañaque City into national roads, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 5590, establishing a nationwide ban on the production, distribution, sale, and use of single-use plastic products, by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 5591, establishing in Angat, Bulacan, the Angat Municipal Hospital, by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5592, establishing the Philippine Cybersecurity Council, by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 5593, strengthening the people's constitutional right to information on matters of public concern, establishing a framework of access, by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Public Information.
House Bill 5594, separating the University of Southern Mindanao Kidapawan City Campus, located in Kidapawan City, Cotabato, from the University of Southern Mindanao Main Campus, located in Cabacan, Cotabato, and converting it into South Central Mindanao State College, by Representative Kawagdan.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5595, instituting comprehensive policies to prevent and address acts of bullying, harassment, and other forms of violence in the workplace, by Representative Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, and Yap Edvic.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment and the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 5596, establishing the Classroom Building Acceleration Program, by Representative Ginto.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5597, providing for a 5-year validity period of the professional identification cards of all professionals under the PRC, by Representative Ginto.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 5598, further extending the period of availment of the estate tax amnesty until June 30, 2028, by Representative Ginto.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 5599, providing for a Magna Carta of Barangays and Barangay Officials, by Representative Ginto.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 5600, modernizing the Philippine Civil Registration and Vital Statistics System, by Representative Ginto.
To the Committee on Population and Family Relations.
House Bill 5601, establishing a national electronic health record system to ensure continuity of care, improve medical efficiency, and promote universal health access for all Filipinos, by Representative Ginto.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5602, establishing the Philippine Online Library, by Representative Chua.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5603, regulating billboards and other out-of-home advertising signs, by Representative Chua.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill 5604, establishing a national energy policy and regulatory framework for facilities utilizing waste-to-energy technologies by Representative Yap Arthur.
to the Committee on Energy and the Committee on Ecology,
House Bill 5605, integrating disaster preparedness and response subject into the curricula of public and private elementary and high schools by Representative Lazatin.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill 5606, mandating the exclusive rights of small-scale and subsistence fisherfolk within the Philippine Kilometer Municipal Waters by Representatives Col Rene Luis, Tino, and Elago.
to the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources,
House Bill 5607, ensuring the welfare and protection of BPO workers by Representative Suwan.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill 5608, providing a Mana Carta for esports gamers by Representative Suwan.
to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development,
House Bill 5609, amending the Fire Code of the Philippines Act of 2008 by Representative Suwan.
to the Committee on Public Order and Safety,
House Bill 5610, transferring the National Fire Training Institute from the Philippine Public Safety College to the BFP by Representative Suwan.
to the Committee on Public Order and Safety,
House Bill 5611, providing for the Mana Carta of the Out-of-School Youth by Representative Plato.
to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development,
House Bill 5612, providing for the establishment of breast care centers in every region nationwide by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5613, creating the Department of Technical Education and Skills Development by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education and the Committee on Government Reorganization,
House Bill 5614, banning the sale of shower curtains made of polyvinyl chloride, more commonly known as PVC in the Philippines, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5615, creating the Department of Disaster Resilience, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Disaster Resilience and the Committee on Government Reorganization,
House Bill 5616, creating a Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Aquaculture and the Fisheries Resources and the Committee on Government Reorganization,
House Bill 5617, promoting research on dystonia, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5618, to provide for a study and for demonstration projects regarding cases of hepatitis C among firefighters, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, and other emergency response employees, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5619, establishing a maternal and infant health home visitation program, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5620, creating the National Environmental Protection Agency of the Philippines, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Natural Resources and the Committee on Government Reorganization,
House Bill 5621, reducing healthcare costs by requiring tertiary and specialized hospitals to share certain services and equipment, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5622, to require the Secretaries of Health and Labor and Employment to issue regulations to eliminate or minimize the significant risk of needle stick injury to healthcare workers, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5623, instituting reforms in land administration, creating the Land Administration Authority, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Natural Resources and the Committee on Government Reorganization,
House Bill 5624, establishing the National Measurement Institute of the Philippines, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Science and Technology,
House Bill 5625, establishing the Mercury Exposure Information Program, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 5626, separating the regulatory and commercial functions of the Philippine Ports Authority by converting it into Philippine Ports Corporation for development, management, and operation of public ports within its system and transferring the regulatory functions to the Marina by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5627, reorganizing the Land Registration Authority by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
To the Committee on Justice and the Committee on Government Reorganization.
House Bill 5628, establishing the Philippine Transportation Safety Board by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5629, requiring all public health centers to be open at all times to provide continuous health and medical services to the public by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5630, establishing the Special Health Fund for the improvement of healthcare services in the LGUs by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5631, establishing the Air Passenger Bill of Rights by Representative Roman.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5632, providing for the restoration and rehabilitation of the Major Ferdinand Ederlin Marcos Emergency Hospital by Representative Siungalao.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5633, improving the benefits for athletes with disabilities by Representative Tolentino.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill 5634, empowering legislators to look into bank accounts during investigations in aid of legislation on matters involving bribery, plunder, graft and corruption, terrorism, or issues of significance that affect national security by Representative Tolentino.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill 5635, increasing the duration of penalties in the revised penal code by Representative Tolentino.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 5636, improving the COMELEC by increasing the manpower complement of its field offices by Representative Tolentino.
To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Bill 5637, allowing the use of waste-to-energy technology in electricity, fuel, and heat generation by Representative Tolentino.
To the Committee on Energy and the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 5638, strengthening the University of Antique by Representative Ligarda.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5639, establishing a regulatory framework for facilities utilizing waste-to-energy technologies by Representative Ligarda.
To the Committee on Energy and the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 5640, strengthening the Philippine Economic Zone Authority by Representative Ligarda.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs and the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill 5641, expanding the National Feeding Program by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5642, defining electronic violence against women and their children by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 5643, institutionalizing the Emergency Medical Services Team by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5644, regulating the treatment technology for municipal and hazardous wastes by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 5645, institutionalizing the value-added tax social transfer for indigent citizens program by Representatives Duterte Umar Vincent and Duterte Paulo.
To the Committee on Social Services.
House Bill 5646, establishing an additional schools division for the 3rd and 4th congressional districts of the province of Quezon to be known as the Quezon Schools Division 2 by Representatives Tan, Keith, Maica, Montes, and Verga, and Arrogancia.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5647, exempting government officials and employees from the prohibition against disclosure of or inquiry into deposits with any banking institution by Representative Montes.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill 5648, expanding the coverage of the senior citizens' privileges and benefits by Representative Montes.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 5649, establishing the Philippine Geriatric Center under the DOH by Representative Montes.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5650, enhancing the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act by Representative Montes.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5651, integrating voter education in the junior and senior high school curricula by Representative Montes.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5652, institutionalizing the Assistance to Individuals in Crisis Situation Program of the DSWD by Representative Montes.
To the Committee on Social Services.
House Bill 5653, implementing the people's right to information and the constitutional policies of full public disclosure and honesty in the public service by Representative Montes.
To the Committee on Public Information.
House Bill 5654, increasing the bed capacity and providing additional resources for the continued operation of the Jose R. Reyes Memorial Medical Center and maximizing its functionality as a specialized geriatric hospital by recognizing the National Center for Geriatric Health as its dedicated department for Filipino citizens by Representative Aquino Magsaysay.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill numbers 5655 to 5658, subdividing certain barangays in the province of Bulacan into distinct and separate barangays by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 5659, establishing the Pantawid para sa Pilipinong Magbubukid program by Representative Promicias Agabas.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 5660, promoting environmental responsibility through the implementation of the CLAGO practices in all food establishments in the Philippines by Representative Promicias Agabas.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 5661, honoring Filipino sports heroes by granting them the privilege of interment at the Libingan ng mga Bayani by Representative Promicias Agabas.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill 5662, declaring the month of November as buwan ng magbubukid at mangingisda and the 15th day of May as pambansang araw ng mga magbubukid by Representative Promicias Agabas.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 5664, to provide for a livestock, poultry, and dairy competitiveness enhancement fund by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 5665, regulating the licensure, examination, and practice of physical therapy in the Philippines by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 5666, providing for development and modernization fund for the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5667, establishing tricycle driver training and motorist awareness programs by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 5668, establishing regulatory framework for the aquarium, aquatic life trade and industry by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill 5669, providing for free freight services in the transportation of relief goods to calamity-stricken areas by Representative Lacson.
To the Committee on Disaster Resilience.
House Bill 5670, establishing a grant program to provide comprehensive eye examinations to children by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5671, upgrading the position of sanitation inspector to the next higher salary grade by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill 5672, establishing a green public procurement program for all branches of government by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals.
House Bill 5673, establishing OFW wards to be known as the Bagong Bayani Ward in every government hospital by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5674, providing for the fair and equitable allocation of farm-to-market roads projects of the Department of Agriculture by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 5675, regulating the use of treatment technology for municipal and hazardous wastes by Representative Escudero.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 5676, establishing the Presidential Merit Scholarship Program by Representative Escudero.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5677, amending Section 7 of the Act regulating the sale, manufacture, distribution, and use of firecrackers and other pyrotechnic devices by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill 5678, instituting fair wages on a national and industrial basis by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 5679, establishing the National Center for Cooperative Development and the Polytechnic University of the Philippines by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 5680, providing for the Magna Carta of Private Health Workers by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 5681, strengthening the National Nutrition Program by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5682, strengthening the role of parents associations and creating the National Parent Council by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5683, requiring the teaching of basic road safety and comprehensive driver's education as part of the curriculum of the K-12 program by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 5684, promoting the right to repair digital electronic products by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill 5685, mandating the establishment of rape crisis centers in private hospitals by Representative Lazatin.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
Resolutions, House Resolution 367, directing the Committee on Health and the Committee on Women and Gender Equality to jointly conduct an inquiry on the implementation gaps of existing policies on menstrual health by Representatives Elago, Tino, and Co. Rene Luis.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 368, requesting the DepEd to postpone face-to-face classes and shift to alternative modes of learning, such as modules and online classes, for a period of at least 2 weeks in all public schools nationwide to give time for the formulation of guidelines on disaster and emergency preparedness and response in public schools by Representative Lazatin.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Resolution 369, urging the House to mandate that department secretaries be personally present to answer questions on their respective agency budgets in the course of the defense by the Committee on Appropriations during budget deliberations in the plenary in order to promote transparency, accountability, and efficient legislative deliberations by Representative Gomez.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Resolution 370, urging the Committee on Labor and Employment to conduct an inquiry on the occupational safety of Pinoy workers during emergency situations by Representative Legazpi.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 371, urging the DAR and concerned government agencies to fast-track distribution, installation, parcelization, and issuance of land titles to agrarian reform beneficiaries in Ormoc City and the 4th District of Leyte by Representative Gomez.
To the Committee on Agrarian Reform.
House Resolution 373, urging the House, through the Committees on Agriculture and Food, Trade and Industry, and Labor and Employment, and other appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry into the plunge in the mill gate price of locally produced sugar in Negros Occidental and its adverse economic impacts on sugar producers and laborers by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 374, urging all LGs through the DILG, DepEd, SHED, and TESDA to immediately conduct structural safety inspections of all school buildings and facilities in their jurisdiction for a period of 2 weeks and revert to alternative delivery modalities in all levels of education, both public and private, by Representative Asistio.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Resolution 375, urging a comprehensive review of the spectrum user fee collection and utilization framework, by Representative Poe.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Resolution 376, strongly condemning the assassination of Nero Kyle D. Antatico, urging the PNP to conduct an urgent and thorough investigation for the swift prosecution of the perpetrators and expeditious administration of justice, by Representatives Suwan and Emano.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Resolution 377, congratulating and commending Honorable Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla on his appointment as Ombudsman of the Republic of the Philippines, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 378, congratulating and commending the UST, Ateneo de Manila University, UP, De La Salle University, Mapua University, and Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology for retaining their rankings in the 2026 Times Higher Education World University Rankings, and for bringing honor and recognition to Philippine higher education, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Resolution 379, congratulating and commending Filipino Olympian Elreen Ando for winning the bronze medal in the women's 63-kilogram event at the 2025 IWF World Championships in Ford, Norway, and for bringing honor, pride, and inspiration to the Filipino people, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 380, recognizing Sudokwan as a locally developed combative sport of national significance in the Philippines and endorsing it to the relevant sports-related entities for their support, by Representatives Co. Rene Luis, Tino, and Elago.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 381, congratulating Aries Resultay Galang for being recognized as one of the outstanding Filipino educators in the United Arab Emirates for 2025 by the Filipino International Teacher Society, by Representative Lazatin.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Resolution 382, directing the appropriate committee of the House of Representatives to conduct an inquiry on the killing of Kyle Antatico, a National Irrigation Administration whistleblower, and for the protection of whistleblowers in government, by Representatives Rodriguez Rufus and Rodriguez Maximo.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 383, directing the Committee on Labor and Employment to conduct an inquiry on the working conditions of delivery riders of Food Panda Philippines in Cagayan de Oro City, by Representative Suwan.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 384, urging the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on Universal Health Care to immediately convene and conduct a review and evaluation of the implementation of the Universal Health Care Act, specifically Section 18B, on the shift to paying providers based on disease or diagnosis-related groupings, by Representative Roman.
To the Committee on Health.
House Resolution 385, congratulating Emma Mary Tiglao for winning the Miss Grand International and for making history as the competition's first back-to-back winner, by Representative Gonzales Elisa Micaela.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 386, urging the DTI and the DFA to immediately undertake diplomatic and trade engagements with the government of the United States of America to address the adverse impacts of the Keep Call Centers in America Act of 2025 and to safeguard the continued operation of U.S.-affiliated BPO firms in the Philippines, by Representative Frasco.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs and the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Resolution 387, expressing profound condolences of the House to the family of the late former Parañaque City Councilor Pablo Gabriel Jr., by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 388, expressing the profound condolences of the House on the passing of Honorable Eduardo Ramos Ermita, former Executive Secretary, distinguished soldier, a statesman, and peacemaker, and commending his exemplary service and lasting contributions to the nation, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 389, congratulating and commending Christine Eds Enero, a proud Olivarian and Parañaquena, from Barangay San Dionisio, for winning the title of Miss Tourism Queen of the Year International 2025, held in Malaysia, bringing honor and pride to the country, the city of Parañaque, and Olivares College, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 390, congratulating and commending Emma Mary Tiglao for winning the Miss Grand International 2025 pageant, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 391, urging the Committee on Public Accounts to conduct an inquiry into the operations, regulation, and compliance with standards of senior citizens' care facilities, home for the aged, and related institutions, by Representative Ordanes.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 392, urging the Committee on Public Accounts to conduct an inquiry into the status, fund utilization, and operations of super health centers nationwide, by Representative Ordanes.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 393, expressing the profound sympathy and condolences of the House on the passing of former Bataan 1st District Representative and former SBMA Chairman and Administrator Felicito C. Payumo, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 394, congratulating and commending the Clark Development Corporation for the Clark Freeport Zone's recognition as Asia's leading meetings and conference destination during the 32nd World Travel Awards for Asia and Oceania, held at the Intercontinental Grand Stanford in Hong Kong, by Representative Lazetin.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Resolution 395, extending warm greetings to Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, Executive Minister of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, on the occasion of his 70th birthday and in recognition of his exemplary and effective leadership, by Representative Lazetin.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 396, a resolution congratulating Emma Mary F. Tiglao for winning the Miss Grand International 2025 title, by Representative Lazetin.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 397, commending and congratulating 8 Filipino designers and brands, Andrea Tetanco, Chris Nick de los Reyes, aka Chris Nick, Don't Blame the Kids Apparel Company, Ino Caluza, aka Victor, Inigo Villegas, aka Inigo, Oxygen, Archie Santos, aka Randolph, and Vina Romero, for representing Filipino creativity and excellence in Manila Fashion Week 2025, held from October 16 to 19, 2025 at SM Aura Premier in Taguig City, by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 398, congratulating and commending Emma Mary Francisco Tiglao of Mabalacat, Pampanga, for being crowned Miss Grand International 2025, by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 399, commending and congratulating Filipino actor John Lloyd Cruz for winning the Bocalino de Oro or Golden Jug Award for Best Actor at the 76th Locarno Film Festival, by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 400, commending and congratulating Filipino artist Pio Abad for being a finalist at the prestigious Turner Prize 2024 by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 401, commending and congratulating Filipino chefs Jordi Navarra, Stefan Duhasme, Shell Gonzalez, and Johan C. for winning various awards at the Best Chefs Award 2024 held in United Arab Emirates by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 402, commending and congratulating Filipino trans woman fashion designer BJ Floresca for bringing honor to the country as the winner of Project Runway Season 21 by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 403, commending and congratulating Filipino-American singer Jessica Sanchez for winning the championship in the 20th season of America's Got Talent by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 404, resolution commending and congratulating the Pinoy pop group BINI for winning the Best Asia Act Award at the 2024 MTV Europe Music Awards by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 405, commending and congratulating the Pinoy pop groups BGYO, BINI, and SB19 for winning various awards at the Break Tudo Awards 2024 held in Brazil by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 406, commending the Manila Fame Trade Show for its significant contribution to the growth and development of the Philippine export industry by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 407, directing the appropriate committee of the House to conduct an inquiry on the measures needed to strengthen support for film producers to ensure the continued development of the Philippine film industry by Representative Benitez Javier Miguel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 408, congratulating and commending the people of the province of Sorsogon for achieving the Guinness World Record for the largest nut brittle in the world by Representative Escudero.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Resolution 409, directing the House Committees on Overseas Workers Affairs and Labor and Employment to jointly conduct a review on the implementation of the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers on the provisions that undermine the rights and welfare of Filipino seafarers by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 410, directing the Committee on Higher and Technical Education to conduct an investigation on the CHED Manual of Regulations for private higher education following reports of unjust termination of academic teaching professionals by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 411, calling for an inquiry into the weaponization of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, particularly the criminalization of cyber libel as a means to suppress dissent, curtail freedom of expression by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 412, congratulating the Angeles City Science High School research team for winning the Gold Award at the Science Castle Asia 2025, held at the Multimedia University, Malaysia, by Representative Lazatin.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
Communications, letter dated October 14, 2025 of the Bank Officer 6, BSP Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, transmitting to the House duly certified copies of certain BSP issuances.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
Letter dated September 29, 2025 of the Honorable Executive Secretary, Office of the President, transmitting 2 original copies of RA number 12309, which lapsed into law, granting free funeral services to poor families.
To the Archives.
Letters dated October 27, 2025 of the Honorable Executive Secretary, Office of the President, transmitting 2 original copies each of the following Republic Acts, which were signed by the President. RA number 12312, Anti-Pogo Act of 2025. RA number 12313, the Lifelong Learning Development Framework Act.
To the Archives.
Committee reports. Committee report number 11, submitted by the Committee on Higher and Technical Education on House Bill 5663. Committee report number 12, submitted by the Committee on Housing and Urban Development on House Bill 2286. And committee report number 13, submitted by the Committee on Labor and Employment on House Resolution 426.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guests of Honorable Leila de Lima, Representative Mamamayang Liberal Party List. The following representatives from the Community Organizers Multiversity, Urban Poor Associates and Coalition ng Organisadong Samahan ng Maralitang Tagalungsod. Community Organizers Multiversity, namely Tony Lopez, Madeline Suarez, Vicente Barlos, Elisa Maceda, Ram Babas, Malu Alves Mendoza, Eni Lianyo, Brian Teodosio, Virginia Ramos, Jessica Amon, Marlon Quirante, Belia de la Rosa. Urban Poor Associates, namely Alicia Murphy, Ivy Pagute, Lucila Sugeste, Grace Lee Hortinela, Robertus Mulhadi, and Koalisyon ng Organisadong Samahan ng Maralitang Tagalungsod, namely Gemma Quintero, Filomena Cinco, Georgie Tenolete, Cynthia Espiga, and last, Jerome Puserio. Mr. Speaker.
To the guests of the Honorable Laila de Lima, coming from the Community Organizers Multiversity, from the Urban Poor Associates, and from the Koalisyon ng Organisadong Samahan ng Maralitang Tagalungsod. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we would like to recognize the guests of the Committee on Welfare of Children, namely from the United Nations Office of the Special Representative of the Secretary General on Violence Against Children, Dr. Najat Maala Mujid, Special Representative of the Secretary General on BAC, and Mr. Manus Debara, Child Protection Officer. From the United Nations Children's Fund, Bezad Nubari, Deputy Representative, Patricia Lim Aken, Chief Child Protection, and Faye Balanon, Child Protection Officer. And from the Child's Rights Network, Ms. Aurora Kilala, Executive Director, and Ms. Nanita Dalde, Deputy Executive Director.
To the guests from the United Nations Office of the Special Representative of the Secretary General on Violence Against Children, Dr. Najat Maala, Special Representative of the Secretary General on VAC, Mr. Manus Debara, Child Protection Officer, and from the United Nations Children's Fund, or UNICEF, we have Bezad Nobari, Deputy Representative, Patricia Lim Aken, Chief Child Protection, and Faye Balanon, Child Protection Officer. And finally, from the Child Rights Network, Ms. Maria Aurora Kilala, Executive Director, and Ms. Nenita Dalde, Deputy Executive Director. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we would also like to recognize the guests of Representative Elijah R. San Fernando of the Kamanggagawa Party List, from the Light Rail Manila Corporation Supervisory Union, namely Joselito L. Sancha, Sherwin Sales, Jesse P. Mariano, Lowell D. Madla, Darina P. Lumbres, and Jordan Brozo.
To the guests of the Honorable Elijah San Fernando from the Light Rail Manila Corporation Supervisory, led by Mr. Joselito Sancha, welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we would also like to recognize the guests of Honorable Edwin L. Cruzado, Representative of the 1st District of Cotabato, namely Honorable Ryan Tabanay, Vice Mayor Municipality of Makilala, Cotabato Province, Ms. Cheryl Lu Amoy, Mr. Mark June Antipuesto, Ms. Edsel Bitalas, Mr. Nathaniel Conol, Mr. Andy Figura, Mr. Lucky Rogin Flores, Mr. Elmer Garganian, Ms. Melanie Iremedio, Mr. Kevin Roy Necesito, Mr. Kyle Rusman Pacres, Ms. LV Pagong, Mr. Ray Ramirez, and Ms. Paula Julian Ruedas.
To the guests of Honorable Cruzado and Honorable Cawagdan, led by Honorable Ryan Tabanay, Vice Mayor of the Municipality of Makilala, Cotabato Province. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, with leave of the House, I move to open the privilege hour.
is there any objection? The chair hears none. The privilege hour is open. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Laila M. De Lima of the Party List ML to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative, the Honorable Laila M. De Lima of Party List ML is recognized. You may proceed. You have 10 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise today on a matter of collective privilege to call the attention of the August Chamber to a grave and deeply troubling provision in a law enacted by the 19th Congress, Republic Act number 12216, or the National Housing Authority Act. Under Section 6, subsection 4D of this law, the National Housing Authority, or NHA, the very agency mandated to build homes for the low-income families, has been given the power to summarily eject and dismantle without the necessity of judicial order. May I repeat that? Without the necessity of judicial order. Informal settler families, or so-called illegal occupants residing in government resettlement projects and properties under its administration. Mr. Speaker, let that sink in. Congress has empowered the National Housing Agency to render our people homeless. How can an instrumentality of government, a public corporation founded by people's money, whose mandate is to shelter, be given the legal authority to dispossess? How can we justify a law that gives the NHA the power to demolish without judicial process, when due process itself is the cornerstone of our judicial system? Napakaraming mali sa probisyong ito ng NHA Act. Let us look closely at the text of this provision. The clause granting the NHA this summary and extrajudicial authority to evict and demolish is not a standalone section. It is a mere proviso, tucked quietly within Section 6, subsection 4D, a paragraph that principally deals with the collection of debts and obligation. Malinaw, first, it is an obvious rider. Tingnan po natin how Section 6, subsection 4D of RA 12216 looks like. And tingnan ho natin sa dulo. The authority may compromise or release in whole or in part any interest, penalty, or obligation in connection with the collection of amortizations from its awardees, provided that the authority shall have the power to summarily eject and dismantle, without the necessity of judicial order, any and all informal settlers, settler families, as well as any illegal occupant in any home lot, apartment, or dwelling unit from government resettlement projects, as well as properties owned or administered by it. End of quote. Malinaw na itong probisyong nagbibigay ng kapangyarihan sa NHA na magpalayas at magpagiba ay naligaw lamang at walang anumang kinalaman sa punto ng Section 6, subsection 4D. Ang tunay na puntirya lamang ay ang responsibilidad ng NHA na kolektahin ang utang o obligasyon mula sa mga awardees nito. Bahagi ito ng kanyang asset management and business development. Sinasabi sa unang talata ng subsection 4D na may karapatang maningil at magkaso kung hindi uubra ang paniningil. Sa pangalawang talata naman, bilang pagpapatuloy ng unang talata, ay may opsyon na makipag-areglo o magpaabuya sa anumang interes, multa o singilin sa hulugan. Ang parehong talata sa makatuwid ay tungkol sa pangungolekta ng NHA ng utang at anumang interes o multa. Lahat ito ay sumasailalim sa aspeto ng operasyon ng NHA patungkol sa pamamahala ng kanyang ari-arian at pagpapalago ng negosyo. What kind of asset management includes the forced eviction of the poor? What kind of business development finds logic in the destruction of homes? Malinaw na malinaw ang probisyong ito. Wala sa lugar, wala sa konteksto, at wala sa katwiran. This insertion is plainly misplaced, a rider clause that has strayed from its proper context. If the raison d'etre of subsection 4D is debt collection, then eviction and demolition have no rhyme, reason, or rightful place in it. The second point, Mr. Speaker, is that this provision appears to be a product of inadvertence, a legislative slip. It appears that the controversial proviso was just inadvertently retained in the enrolled bill and unfortunately escaped legal scrubbing, as the legislative history of RA 12216 seems to suggest. The proviso was not part of any of the counterpart bills in the House of Representatives, specifically HB numbers 954, 1429, 2300, 6369, 8156, 8578, and 9258. HB 10172 that consolidated and substitute those bills, which was prepared by the House Committee on Housing and Urban Development and eventually passed on third reading, did not contain that questionable clause. In the House's version, the proviso that is logically added to the NHA's prerogative to compromise or release interest, penalty, or any liability pertains to the deputation of a member of the NHA legal staff to act as a special sheriff in foreclosure sales, attachments, or of debtors' properties, etc. It is therefore illogical and out of place to insert that controversial proviso, giving the NHA extrajudicial and summary power not to even collect the debts and incidental obligations, but to order the eviction of occupants, presumably informal settlers, and the demolition of their homes. HB 10124 was approved on third reading in plenary on May 15, 2024. So yan po yung history ng batas na ito. It was transmitted to the Senate on May 20. On September 11, the Senate Committees on Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement, Government Corporations and Public Enterprises, Ways and Means, and Finance jointly filed SB number 2818 in substitution of SB number 653, 1258, and 1713, taking into consideration House Bill number 10170. On February 3, 2025, the Senate approved the substitute bill on third reading. On the same day, in lieu of a BICAM version, the House of Representatives adopted SB number 2818 and toto as an amendment to its own HB 10172. SB 2818 contained the controversial provision granting the NHA the power to extrajudicially and summarily evict and demolish. It appears that the third reading approval of SB 2818 by the Senate and the House adoption of it on the same day seemed to be done in haste, as the last session before Congress took a break would happen just 2 days later on February 5. Of course, we know that 6 days later, or on February 11, the 90-day campaign period for senatorial and party list candidates would begin. And so while everyone was busy campaigning, the enrolled bill was received by the House Secretariat on March 24, 2025, while the Senate received its copy on March 27. It was submitted on April 29 to the President, who signed it into law as RA 12216 on May 29, 2025. From this timeline, we can reasonably infer that the President and both houses of Congress were very much conscious of 4 important dates. February 5, the last day of congressional session, which was 6 days before the kickoff of the campaign period for the May 2025 elections. June 11, 2025, the last day of the 19th Congress. June 30, the start of the 20th Congress, and July 31, the end of the 50-year life of the NHA, pursuant to PD 757. SB 2819 unfortunately contains a similarly worded provision that is carried over into RA 12216. In the rush to meet legislative deadlines, coupled with the election campaign frenzy, what was once a well-intentioned bill to extend the life of and strengthen the NHA has turned into a law with a provision that perhaps unintentionally authorizes injustice. This is not mere semantics or oversight. This is a case where a technical lapse translates into innumerable anxieties and incalculable sufferings for many of our poor Filipino households, where a misplaced proviso could mean the loss of homes, communities, and dignity for thousands of low-income families. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, this is a slippage in legislative craftsmanship, one with sorry and grave consequences to the poor and other vulnerable groups. Alam ko po, I have very limited time, kaya lang po, if I may be given this indulgence, the privilege to, for a few minutes more, because these are very substantive arguments that I'm putting forward, to convince the body to amend the law by repealing that particular questionable provision.
You have 5 more minutes, Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Third point, Mr. Speaker, let us now return to the very heart of the NHA's mandate. Ang pinaka-mandato po ng NHA, it exists to develop and implement a comprehensive, integrated, and affordable housing program for underprivileged and homeless citizens. The new law even expands this mission, taking the NHA to build sustainable, resilient, and affordable communities and to provide innovative and alternative solutions for informal settler families and low-income households. Hindi bang ibig sabihin nito ay nakaatas sa NHA sa kanyang kasalukuyang charter na hindi lamang magpanukala at magpatupad ng komprehensibong programa sa pabahay, kundi tiyakin ang kanyang programa ay abot kaya at nagbibigay ng mga maparaan at alternatibong opsyon para sa ating mga informal settlers at iba pang mga kapos ang kita. Kung gayon, hindi tama at hindi angkop na ang NHA ang ahensyang dapat naglalaan ng disente at abot kayang pabahay, ang siya mismong magpapalayas sa mga kapuspalad at nagpapagipa sa tirahan ng mahihirap nating kababayan na umaasa sa programang pabahay ng ating pamahalaan. Hindi ba't kabalintunaan ito? The very agency meant to uplift the poor is now armed with the authority to dispossess them extrajudicially. This is not just inconsistent, it is contradictory, a distortion of the NHA's reason for being. By analogy, kung ganito ang kalalabasan na ang National Housing Authority ay ahensya mismong nagkakait ng pabahay, ay para na rin sinasabi na ang Commission on Human Rights ay tagalabag ng karapatang pantao, ang DOJ ay instrumento in justisya, at ang DNR ay tagawasak ng ating kalikasan. Fourth point, it is inconsistent with UDHA. Kasi po sa UDHA, Section 28, sa 3 kondisyon lamang pwedeng meron eviction. Number 1, when occupants are living in danger zones. Number 2, when a government infrastructure project with available funding is about to be implemented, or when there is a court order authorizing eviction. Itong bagong batas na ito, 12216, makes no express repeal of UDHA, yet it effectively renders judicial oversight optional. How can we reconcile a law that requires judicial process with one that allows summary action? The two cannot stand together without one undermining the other. Fifth point, violation po ito ng constitutional and international obligations. Because of lack of time, I don't have to discuss those constitutional and international obligations. Panghuli na lang po. As conclusion, a call to rectify and repeal. Mr. Speaker and dear colleagues, beyond the legal arguments lies the moral question. What kind of republic empowers its housing agency to act without the courts, to demolish without hearing, to evict without recourse? We cannot in good conscience call ourselves defenders of the marginalized if we allow this power to stand. Kung ako po ay consistent sa pagiging anti-EJK, ako rin ngayon po ay anti-EJED or anti-extrajudicial judicial eviction or demolition. Mariin tayong tumututol sa extrajudicial eviction and demolition ng NHA at anumang forma at anyo ng puwersaan at hindi makatarungang pagpapalayas sa at paggigiba ng mga tahanan, lalo pa kung ito'y sa mismong mga proyektong pabahay ng pamahalaan. EJK and EJED are both forms of violence. Both disregard the due process of law. Both trample on human dignity. Tandaan natin, ang paninirahan ay isang batayang karapatan ng lahat. Batayan ito sapagkat nagbibigay at nag-aangat ito ng dignidad at halaga sa bawat isa at sa kanyang pamilya. Kung ito ay puwersahan at walang katwirang aalisin sa kanya, hindi lamang na mawawalan siya ng bubong na masisilungan at bahay na mauuwian, siya rin ay magiging vulnerable sa napakarami pang paglabag sa ibang karapatan gaya ng buhay at personal na seguridad, gayon din ang akses sa kalusugan, edukasyon at iba pang serbisyong panlipunan. For all these reasons, I reiterate, Mr. Speaker, because this provision is misplaced, inadvertent, inconsistent with the NHA's mandate, repugnant to UDHA or Republic Act 7279, violative of constitutional guarantees, and contrary to our international obligations, I call upon this House to act. Let us move swiftly to repeal Section 6, subsection 4D of the National Housing Authority Act. Let us correct this legislative misstep before it breeds further injustice. And while we work towards its repeal, I humbly urge the NHA, do not exercise this power. Do not implement what the law, in its spirit and intent, never meant to grant. Mr. Speaker, the NHA must live to its name, the National Housing Authority, not the National Homelessness Authority. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable De Lima. Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer the speech of the Honorable Laila M. De Lima to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The speech of Honorable De Lima is referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Representative Ann Matibag of the 1st District of Laguna to avail of the privilege hour.
The Honorable Ann Matibag of the 1st District of Laguna is recognized. You may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. As Vice Chair of the Committee on the Welfare of Children, I rise today in celebration of National Children's Month, carrying a message that concerns not only our children's present, but also the very health and future of our nation. We face a growing and silent epidemic, childhood overweight and obesity. According to Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute, 1 in 10 Filipino children aged 5 to 19 years is now overweight or obese. If we do nothing, the number will triple by 2030, and obesity in children tells us that the rates are rising fastest among children in urban and wealthier homes, where diets are dominated by highly processed foods and sugary drinks. This means that even in a country long burdened by undernutrition, overnutrition has become a new form of malnutrition. Our children's diets are changing. They are eating less fruits and vegetables and more sugary, salty, and fatty foods. UNICEF reports that 3 out of 4 adolescents eat fewer than 3 portions of vegetables a day, while 1 in 3 drinks at least 1 carbonated drink daily. Many Filipino children are growing up with instant noodles for breakfast and soft drinks for lunch, not because they want to, but because our food environment has made these the easiest choices. Mr. Speaker, our children live in food environments that fail them. The 2025 UNICEF Child Nutrition Report, Feeding Profit, revealed that across the world, children are surrounded by cheap, accessible, and aggressively marketed ultra-processed foods. And here in the Philippines, these products are everywhere, in schools, in corner stores, and more dangerously on their phones. Colleagues, our children's playgrounds are no longer just the streets or schoolyards. They are online. According to UNICEF's 2024 report on digital marketing on unhealthy foods, 3 out of 4 young children said they saw ads for sugary drinks, snacks, or fast food in a week. These ads use cartoon characters, online influencers, games, and even educational apps designed to capture children's attention, shape their taste, and build brand loyalty before they can even read a food label. This is not just marketing. It is manipulation. The cost of this crisis is enormous in health, education, and the economy. Overweight children are more likely to develop diabetes, heart disease, and depression later in life. Families bear the emotional toll, and our health system bears the financial burden. But the greatest loss is this: every child who grew up malnourished, whether underfed or overfed, is a child whose potential we have failed to nurture. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, to which the Philippines is a proud signatory, guarantees every child the right to the highest attainable standard of health. Yet, we allow the aggressive marketing of unhealthy food to continue unchecked. We violate that very right. Our children are not miniature consumers. They are citizens with rights. And it is our duty to protect them from exploitation in every form, including commercial exploitation. This is why we should enact a measure that will protect our children from unhealthy food environment, which will restrict child-directed marketing on healthy food and beverages across all media platforms, ban marketing in schools and child-centered spaces, require truthful front-of-pack nutrition labels based on WHO standards, empower regulatory bodies to monitor compliance, and impose penalties for violation. This bill is not anti-business. It is pro-child. It seeks not to punish industry, but to ensure that profit never comes before protection. No country has yet enacted a comprehensive set of measures to protect children from unhealthy food environments, but some are leading the way. Chile, Mexico, and Brazil have shown that with strong laws, children's exposure to unhealthy food ads can be dramatically reduced. Let us make the Philippines part of that global movement. Let us act now, before another generation grows up in an environment that profits from ill health. Mr. Speaker, distinguished guests, our colleagues, this Children's Month, let us reaffirm our commitment to build a nation where every child can grow up healthy, protected, and free from manipulation. Let us be the Congress that stood up not only against abuse or neglect, but against the silent exploitation of our children's health. Together, let us pass this measure. Let us give our children the gift they truly deserve: a healthy start, a fair chance, and a brighter future. Thank you, and may God bless our Filipino children at atin ng magandang bukas.
Thank you. Honorable Matibag. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer the speech of the Honorable Ann Matibag of the 1st District of Laguna to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The speech of the Honorable Ann Matibag is referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now recognize Representative Rene Luis Co of the Kabataan Party List to avail of the privilege.
The Honorable Rene Luis M. Co. of the Party List, Kabataan, is recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mga kapwa ko mambabatas, isang maulan na resumption of session sa ating lahat. Ngayong buwan, alinsunod sa Republic Act No. 9512, ginugunita natin ngayon ang National Environmental Awareness Month. Unfortunately, ironic as it is, naging very aware talaga tayo sa environment natin nitong mga nakaraang araw ng Nobyembre dahil sa pagragasa ng magkasunod na Bagyong Tino at Uwan. Sinalanta ng Bagyong Tino ang Western at Central Visayas, kung saan hindi bababa sa 224 ang namatay, 526 ang sugatan o napilayan, at 109 ang nawawala. Ang pinsala naman sa agrikultura at infrastruktura ay hindi bababa sa 219 million pesos na kung tutuusin ay conservative estimate pa. Samantala, winasak ng Super Typhoon Uwan ang iba't ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas mula sa Bicol Region hanggang sa Northern and Central Luzon. As of today, ang initial na mga tala, 8 fatalities, 15 injured, at milyon-milyon ang displaced o nakabakwit. At sa ngayon, wala pa rin ang bilang kung magkano ang total loss and damage na dulot ng Super Typhoon. Mr. Speaker, habang umaapaw ang baha sa iba't ibang panig ng Pilipinas, nag-resurface sa social media ang usapin ng isang quote-unquote development project sa Cebu, The Rise at Monterazas, a luxury condominium carved out of a mountainside. Sa kabila ng pagtutol ng mga residente at mga environmental groups sa pagtatayo ng proyektong ito, given the history of calamity in the area, nakuha pa rin ito ang lahat ng permits mula sa gobyerno at tinuloy pa rin ang construction nito. Ilan pa ba ang mapanirang proyekto ang lumusot o pinalusot ng DENR at ng Malacanang mismo? Matutungangan na lang ba tayo? Matutungangan na lang ba ulit ang Malacanang tulad noong sumambulat ang iskandalo ng flood control projects? Ngayon, matapos ang Tino at Uwan, pinupunan ng mga tao ang mga nagtulak sa pagtatayo ng condominium tulad ng celebrity engineer na si Slater Young, isa sa mga nag-reassure sa publiko na hindi nito maaapektuhan ang kapaligiran. Muli namang umalma ang mga residente sa paligid ng Monterazas dahil sa hagupit ng bagyo at tindi ng baha. At iimbestigahan raw ng DENR at DPWH ang proyektong ito. Pero ang tanong ng kabataan at ng taong bayan, bakit ngayon lang, Mr. Speaker, kung kailan agrabyado na ang mga tao? This is too little, too late. Madaling magalit kay Slater Young, pero ang problema na ito, tulad ng flood control, ay hindi umuugat sa ilang engineer o individual lamang, kundi ang pangkabuoang sistema. Mr. Speaker, mga kapwa ko mambabatas, hindi lamang mga pekeng development projects tulad ng The Rise at Monterazas ang talamak sa mga kabundukan ng ating bansa. Ang pangunahing, kumakalbo at pumapatag sa ating mga bundok, ang mapinsalang pagmimina o destructive mining. Mr. Speaker, sa unang 8 buwan pa lamang ng pagkaupo ni President Marcos Jr. ay 8 mining permits ang inaprubahan sa iba't ibang bahagi ng ating bansa. Sa kasalukuyan, nasa 790 ang approved and registered mining permits, kabilang ang exploration permit na iginawad sa Woggle Mining Corporation na nanghihimasok sa 3,100 hectares ng lupain sa Dupax del Norte, Nueva Vizcaya, isa sa mga tinamaan ng uwan para sa exploration ng gold and copper deposits doon. Tulad ng The Rise, tinututulan din ng mga residente ng Dupax del Norte ang paghihimasok ng mga korporasyong ito. Nagtayo pa sila ng barikada, nagprotesta, nanawagan, ipamana, wag ipamina. Ano ang tugon ng gobyerno, Mr. Speaker? Marahas na binuwag ang mga barikada at balak pang ituloy ang paghihimasok ng mining company. Kung ganoon, kailan pakikinggan ang mga hinaing ng mga residente? Kung kailan bumabagyo ulit at lunod na sila sa baha? At saka lang babawiin ang permit ng minahan at iimbestigahan kuno ang pinsala ng komunidad? Again, too little, too late. But maybe it's not about just being too slow. Maybe as we've seen, this is by design. Mr. Speaker, my good colleagues, I have discussed extensively in previous speeches about corruption in our government, but it begs repeating over and over again. May pandarambong sa pamahalaan at pandarambong sa kalikasan at ang ninanakaw sa kaban ng bayan ang ginagamit para ipamuhunan sa mga proyektong pinagsasamantalahan ang ating lupa, ang ating inang bayan. Sa gantong sistema ang lugi, ang taong bayan. Madalas na sinisisi ang karaniwang tao pa nga Kesyo, quote-unquote, bakit kasi last minute na lumilikas bago bagyo? O di kaya, quote-unquote, bakit kasi sa floodplain gumawa ng tirahan? Takaw sa kuna, quote-unquote raw ang mga taong ito. Mawalang galang lang po, pero ang tunay na takaw sa kuna ay ang matatakaw sa yaman ng bayan, ang mga negosyong pinagkakitaan, ang pinsala sa kalikasan, at ang mga nasa gobyernong kakontsaba nila gumaganansya rin. Ang problema rin, hindi lang nakawan. Ang problema ay ang sistema na ginagamit ang gobyerno para mapagpayaman ang iilan. Ito ang burokratang kapitalismo, Mr. Speaker. Hindi naman kasi natural, quote-unquote, ang disasters. Dahil ang pinsalang dala ng mga bagyo at lindol, dinudulot at pinapalala ng hindi makalikasang mga polisiya, korupsyon at pandarambong. Ina-argue na natural o normal lang daw ang sakuna at dinadakila ang Filipino resilience para masanay tayo sa ghost and substandard flood control projects sa kawalan ng nature-based and scientific solutions habang binubulsa ng ilan ang kaban ng bayan. Kailangan din nating sabihin, Mr. Speaker, na walang normal o natural sa paglala ng mga bagyo na dulot ng krisis pang klima o climate crisis. Dahil sa tuloy-tuloy at pataas ng pataas na carbon dioxide emissions at patuloy na pag-ilag sa pananagutan ng mga polluters gaya ng mga dambuhalang korporasyon sa langis at krudo, naglalaho ang anumang hangarin namin para sa isang mundo narito pa, nakabubuhay pa sa susunod na 50 taon. Sunod-sunod ang pagkakait sa atin ng hustisya. Kahit may international Court of Justice opinion na nagsasabing may obligasyon ang mga bansa na iwasan at bawasan ang mga effects ng climate change. Bigo pa rin ang pagkakaroon ng Global Plastics Treaty na sasagot sa pandaigdigang plastic pollution. May kabiguan din na ilimita to 1.5 degrees Celsius ang global warming. To quote the UN Secretary General of the past 5 days, that is a moral failure and a deadly negligence. Mr. Speaker, mga kapwa ko mambabatas, ngayong National Environmental Awareness Month, hindi na lamang kamalayan ang kailangan sa usapin ng kalikasan at kapaligiran. Ang kailangan natin ngayon ay paniningil at pananagutan. It's been more than 100 days since the expose of rampant corruption in government and years since we've called for climate accountability. And how many have been held accountable? Zero pa rin po. Hindi lang ito mga numero ang usapin ng korupsyon, ang pandarambong sa pamahalaan, at kalikasan ay usapin ng buhay at kamatayan. Mula rito, muli ipinagpapanawagan ng representasyong ito ang mga sumusunod. Una, kinakailangan na nating ibasura ang Mining Act of 1995 at isabatas ang isang People's Mining Act para hindi na mapapinsala at nakatuon sa kita ang minahan. Sa halip na makapagpatayo ng sustainable mining industry kung saan nakapanguna ang interes ng mamamayan, hindi ang iilan lang. Ipamana ang mga bundok at mahalagang anyo ng lupa at huwag basta-bastang ipamina. Dagdag pa magpatupad ng People's Green New Deal, ng Climate Accountability Bill na nakatuon sa tunay na reforma sa lupa at pambansang industrialisasyon. And of course, climate accountability. Pangalawa, tugunan ang loss and damage na dulot ng sakuna mula sa pinakaugat pa lamang nito. Maglaan ng pondo para sa kompensasyon sa lahat ng biktima ng sakuna. Itigil ang mga mapangwasak na infrastructure projects at magsagawa ng nature-based solutions, scientifically backed projects para mabawasan at ganap na maiwasan ang pinsala ng bagyo, baha, lindol at iba pa. Panghuli, uulitin ko, lahat ng sangkot, Lahat ng kurakot, dapat managot. Sa paparating na November 17 sa National Students Day, as provided by law, babawiin ng mga kabataang estudyante ang lansangan. At sa November 30, araw ni Gat Andres Bonifacio, sisingilin ng taong bayan at pananagutin ang mga kawatan. Parehong ang mga mandarambong sa pamahalaan at mandarambong sa kalikasan dahil ninanakaw lang nila hindi ang likas yaman lamang kundi pati ang kinabukasan ng mga pag-asa ng bayan. I yield my remaining time for the floor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Ko, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Rene Co to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The speech of Honorable Ko is referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to acknowledge or allow Sara Ilago, Honorable Sara Ilago of Gabriela Party List to avail of the privilege hour.
The Honorable Sarah Jane Ilago of the Party List Gabriela is recognized. You may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, child rights advocates, at sa mga bata, maligayang pagbati ngayong National Children's Month. Every November, we come together to celebrate National Children's Month, a month dedicated to honoring every Filipino child. This month also reminds us of the state's obligation to fulfill, promote, and respect children's rights as we commemorate the adoption of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, a global commitment to which the Philippines is a state party. Ang pagpirma rito, Mr. Speaker, ay hindi lang isang kasulatan, no? Kundi isang obligasyon at responsibilidad na tiyakin na ang bawat bata ay lumalaking ligtas, malusog, may edukasyon, at tunay na malaya. Yet, as we gather today, we are confronted by a painful truth. Many Filipino children are still left behind. They remain among the most vulnerable members of society, especially in times of disaster and crisis. This year's celebration comes at a time when crises continue to worsen. The start of the National Children's Month was marked by typhoons that exposed children to severe danger. An average of 20 tropical cyclones hit the Philippines every year, according to Pag-asa. And based on news reports, the recent Typhoon Uwan alone affected an estimated 470,000 children and has damaged over 1,800 classrooms in Luzon. Filipino children face the harsh realities of disasters, earthquakes, devastating floods, and typhoons that destroy homes, communities, and schools. This is worsened not only by development aggression and extractive mining that destroy our forests and environment, but also by corruption that drains billions meant to protect our communities from disasters. Billions of pesos intended for public works and flood control have been lost to ghost projects, overpriced contracts, and substandard or incomplete infrastructures. In poor communities, Mr. Speaker, children are often the first to suffer. They lose their homes to demolitions in the name of development. They live through flooding and landslides, which are worsened by corruption. They are displaced from ancestral lands, militarized for mining and profit. Many end up in the streets, hungry and vulnerable, forced into child labor, exploitation, trafficking, or abuse. Isa rin sa mga nakakabahala at lumalalang anyo ng pang-aabuso sa mga bata sa Pilipinas ngayon ay ang madami pa ring kaso ng online sexual abuse and exploitation of children o OSAE. Sa dami ng oras na ginugugol ng mga bata sa internet, lalo na sa mga pinakamahihirap na mga komunidad, nagiging target sila ng online sexual abuse at iba pang uri ng online abuse at exploitation. Sa katunayan, hanggang ngayon ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga global hotspot ng online sexual abuse at exploitation of children. Bukod pa rito, Mr. Speaker,
nakikita rin natin ang patuloy na pagtaas ng iba pang anyo ng paglabag sa karapatang pantao ng mga bata, kabilang ang pagiging biktima ng displacement at militarization, harassment o maski pa red tagging. Marami ang nawala ng mga magulang dahil sa extrajudicial killings sa ilalim ng natagurian na giyera kontra droga at giyera kontra insurhensya. Para sa mga bata, ang sakuna, krisis, pang-aabuso at karahasan ay nagdudulot ng pagkawala ng kanilang karapatan sa maayos na panirahan, karapatang makakain, karapatang makapaglaro, karapatang makapag-aral, at karapatang mabuhay ng ligtas at malayo sa anumang panganib. For many Filipino children, childhood is no longer about discovery or play. It has become about survival. That is why this National Children's Month, Mr. Speaker, this month must serve as a call to action and for us to really stand collectively in upholding and defending the rights and welfare of every Filipino child. Dapat nating ipagtanggol ang mga karapatan ng mga bata, hindi lamang sa proteksyon, kundi pati na rin sa makabuluhan na pakikilahok. Ang karapatang makinig, ang karapatang makita, ang karapatang makibahagi, ang karapatan na mag-ambag sa paghubog ng mundo at bayan na mahal nila. Hayaan nating maging paalala ang buwan ng mga bata para sa paglaban sa katiwalian, para sa ating paninindigan, para sa katarungan, para sa pagtatanggol ng karapatang pantao. Sama-sama tayong kumilos para sa kinabukasan ng susunod na salinlahi at para sa isang lipunan kung saan ang bawat bata ay nabubuhay ng may dignidad, ng ligtas, at tunay na malaya sa pang-aabuso. Hustisya para sa mga batang biktima ng korupsyon at kalamidad, tuloy ang laban para sa karapatan at kapakanan ng mga bata. Maraming salamat at muli, pagbati sa National Children's Month.
Thank you, Honorable Ilago, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of Honorable Sara Ilago to the Committee of Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The speech of Honorable Ilago is referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I move that we terminate the privilege hour.
is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The privilege hour is closed. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guests of the Honorable Marlesa Doc Marley Hofer Hasim, namely Ms. Sharifa Aini Inawat, Mr. Alizer Inawat, Mr. Angelo Roque Jr., Ms. Jeremy Clarin, Mr. Julius Pagalan, Mr. Reagan Saliganan, Mr. Marlo de los Reyes, Mr. Rolly Pugoy, Ms. Sharifa Madshi Saliganan, Mr. Ramil Santa Cruz, Mr. Sharif Mohammed Ashraf Hasim, Ms. Maria Eliza Santa Cruz, Ms. Jeannie Ang Sang, Ms. Maria Estrelleta G. Lara, Ms. AZ May Lacopio.
to the guests of the Honorable Marlesa Doc Marley Hofer Hazim of the 2nd District of Zamboanga, Sibugay. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, there being no other business for today, I will move that we suspend session until the 12th of November, Wednesday, 3 p.m.
is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Session is suspended until November 12 at 3 p.m.